Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kyle Hedlund, and I am part of the Restaurant Opportunity Center of Chicago. I would like to actually perform for you tonight a poem that I have personally written some time ago for a action as part of the Dignity at Darting campaign. If you're not really familiar with ROC, we are a nonprofit organization that wishes to change the restaurant industry for the better. And I'm actually one of the creative heads behind some of the actions, some of the other things that have been happening over the past year and a half that I've been part of Rock Chicago. And if you're not really familiar with the restaurant movement and everything, I highly suggest you check out Behind the Kitchen Door by Seru J.R. Amen. I'm sorry to the author if I mispronounce your name, but it's a really informational book that would really be helpful if you want to get more in depth with rock and everything involving rock. And I would actually like to present to you today, or tonight, wherever you are in the world, with a poem that I've personally written in order to reflect about the restaurant industry and the current movement that's changing it into a brighter tomorrow. The name of the poem is actually called The Working Dead, and I would like to, before I begin, I would like to draw you a little picture about what the life of a server is. For some of the servers out there who work in Red Lobster, Longhorn Steakhouse, or any other restaurants that are part of the Darden Restaurant Group, there are people out there that don't have any paid sick days, that only make $2.13 an hour, and they have to rely mostly on tips to survive. And most of them can't pay for rent, most of them can't pay to feed themselves. There are people who are actually homeless, and they have kids, and they cannot afford them to go through college because their wage is so low and the tips are completely unpredictable. Sure, you could put a tip on the table that's like reasonable and say, oh, that's enough for the server. But the thing is, the tip that you put on the table, it goes not only to the server, but to the busboy, to the bartender, to the barback, to basically everyone. And with that in mind, I would like to actually share with you about how rock is moving forward with the restaurant movement. And it goes something like this. With organic greens and farm-raised hens, we all believe the people who work behind the kitchen doors are living in luxury. Yet when reality bursts through the double doors, most cannot live for another day. We still walk around. We're still able to breathe. But yet, we work so hard as our finances start to rot. We are the working dead, still grinding the stone by day and burning the oil at night. For what, you may ask? For almost nothing. We dredge, we slave away, only to have change in our pockets. We cannot afford the rent. We cannot afford to eat. We cannot even afford to live. We are put into place by color, by age, by language, and by what we do. Yet, now we are part of a movement. The working dead has risen, and we have demand to have a livable wage, to strive for the stars, and for the pursuit of happiness, of what we love to do. We might be dead now, but we live to fight for another day. I would like to thank you for joining in. That poem was actually written for the action on July 27th, 2013. I personally wrote it along with some of my other partners over at Rock Chicago. Make sure that you give kudos to them in the comments below. And if you wish to learn more about me, I do have a few videos up on my channel, if you just happen to stumble upon here. And I also have a few playlists of a few great things. You should check them out. And as always, thank you and good night.